56.
Let's go! Let's go! Woo! Come on, 1 rep, down up.
Adam, you've had yourself quite the athletic feat recently, set some records and hit some pretty cool numbers. Just tell us a little bit about what you have accomplished recently and sort of how you got there.
So I guess it was Sunday, 2 days ago now. I finally hit a 500-pound back squat and a sub 5-minute mile in the same day. And I threw in the 50 pull-ups for Dave Castro because in his book, he kind of to complete the triangle threw in the 50 unbroken pull-ups so that there was some sort of test of like upper body gymnastics endurance. So this was just a goal of mine that I've had for quite some time now. And I just really wanted to do it for me. Like there was no prize money, there's no trophy. I just wanted to prove to myself that I could do it. So
that's a lot to, I don't know, like that's a lot to sort of put yourself to the test for, put your body through without having some additional goal or anything like that. I mean, we don't typically see that kind of training unless you're on the competition floor somewhere. So, I mean, what was going on sort of like internally to have you set this goal for yourself just to see if you could do it?
There's no competition right now. So what else?
Okay.
No, I mean, the timing was just kind of worked out that way. I actually attempted this 2 years ago and I got to, I think it was a 5:17 mile with the 500-pound back squat, but I had to shut it down for injury. So I just started this back up with Dane Smith. We just launched it's called Dad Bod Fitness programming. We're both newer dads. And so this is like one of the tracks on there. So people are actually following along with me a week behind. So we'll now have to adjust the programming a little because I hit it early. But it's like a 12-week program everybody's doing, and everybody's going to test and retest their mile and their squat.
So people are coming for you is what you're saying.
I hope so. I feel like it's one of those things where like once somebody does it, I'm expecting in the next 2 or 3 months for there to be another person or two who hits it.
Very cool.
I don't know, I could be wrong, but.
So now what do you do? I mean, do you set even larger, loftier goals for yourself that you've hit this one?
That's funny. That's probably the biggest question I've gotten right now is to kind of rest and get healthy and give my body a break because that's been a lot on my body the last few weeks.
Yeah.
I don't know. I still want to be a fairly competitive exerciser, and whatever the season has next year, I'd like to be a part of that in some capacity.
Okay.
But if there's no season or, who knows what's going to happen. I don't know. I'm not 100% sure yet. I always have to have a goal. So like at one time it was to hit a 550-pound back squat, and Ben Smith and I, we train together, and we always have some sort of goal we're trying to hit. And it helps us with our training. It gives us a greater, not a greater purpose, but another purpose in our training other than just training for competition.
Sure. That makes sense.
Yeah.
It is kind of crazy to hear you throw out numbers that big, like, well, just go for 550 next time or something like that. But
all relative, right?
Absolutely. And I suppose you're right. There's a lot of, there are a lot of questions in terms of what's next in the season, really what's next in the world, right? It all depends on what's going on in the world. What are you kind of hoping happens? If you could set up the world in the season the way that you want, what are you hoping comes down the pipeline?
It's funny. I always really enjoyed regionals. And I know a lot of people did. And I just liked the way that our community was engulfed in it. And it was like the one weekend of the year that we would have 50 to 100 members of our gym travel down there, and everybody felt a part of it. And us at CrossFit Krypton, we would have, a bunch of athletes competing, and it just kind of brought up the morale of everybody. And I'd like to see that structure again. I'm not banking on that it'll happen, but some sort of structure where maybe the sanctionals get cut down to fewer sanctionals and they become a little bigger, and they act kind of like a regional, and they might send a few people to the games and go from there. So maybe kind of a hybrid of what was and kind of what we're doing now.
Are you worried that you sparked some inspiration for Dave Castro to now make this an event? It's a mile.
To see it as an event, it would have to be structured in some sort of way where they did them back to back, which would be way harder. Like I think if they tested it at the games and they had to structure it where they did do it back to back, I'm not sure that anybody could hit them both. Because I'm telling you, I got finished that mile, and I've never felt worse after one.
Oh,
mile.
really?
I thought I was gonna throw up. I
Uh-uh.
mean, yeah, I was on fire. Like I couldn't have, like within the same hour, I couldn't have hit a 500-pound squat. But maybe a couple hours after, and I ran at like 9:30. I squatted at 4, so I had some separation in there, and maybe they could structure it that way. But I think it would be a really cool event. I think at the ranch, even this year, like it's simple. Like, how would they be able to make that work? And I think because this happened, it might be something a lot of people would be interested in watching.
Totally. And so just lay it out for us if people don't know, you did it at 9:30 and then you squatted at 4, and then when were the pull-ups?
Right after this.
Right afterwards. That's easy.
Easy. It's one of those things, and I had talked on another podcast yesterday, and they were talking about the pull-ups and saying that it was impressive. But like Castro's programmed high rep pull-ups in regional and other competitions. So I mean, we had 64 pull-ups and 8 overhead squat workout, and guys were going 50 plus pull-ups on that workout. So
great. Well, congratulations. I think this is it's a huge accomplishment. And if nothing else, it gave us all something really cool to watch at a time when there's not a lot of other, fast fitnessing and competitive fitnessing going on.
Yeah, I hope it just kind of helped people to realize that it's okay, and you should set goals for yourself, and hopefully it motivates some people during this time. I think it's a little bit of what people need, maybe a reminder to take care of yourself and set some goals and accomplish things by yourself.
Totally. And you put together a YouTube video, right? If people want to like hear more about the journey or see the whole process, what can they do?
It's okay. I'm not good with YouTube, but I put a video out there. I tried to. It's got the mile and the squat on there. So yeah, I did put a video out.
Nice. And where can they find that? Do you know your YouTube?
Nope.
Just search for Adam Klink on YouTube. Cool. We'll find you. Yeah. We'll link it out. We'll find you. All right, Adam. Well, thank you.